Hello, this is Malorian, and this is going to be a double header with my orcs at 1500 points. Alright, so this one gaming group I sometimes game with, they actually found a new place to game at. It's a little bit small, so that they're going to be sticking to 4x4 tables. Also, to deal with that, you're only going to be doing 1500 points. But the big thing here is that this is a group where they really want to play for fun. They're more about the hobby, so it's not as important to go there with like your kind of cutthroat list. You can kind of have more fun. So I decided to go and break out my chariot list for my orcs and goblins, and what I have going on here is I have a war boss that has a charm shield, great weapon, and then he's on a chariot. I also have a level 2 shaman who is on a chariot. He has nothing else. Then I have a BSB who has a great weapon and he has a flaming banner and he's on a chariot. I'm going to have 3 wolf chariots, 3 boar chariots, 2 units of night goblins, 1 with bows, 1 with spears, both with nets and banner, and then finally I have a pump wagon with the whole, it can go 3d6 if I want it type thing, right? It's faster than normal. Now, one of the things I'm supposed to have on my list is also 5 wolf riders with shields. I forgot them, but whatever, it's just the way it is. This first game here is actually the one where it's dawn attack, so things got a little bit crazy where we had to kind of really change up where things had to be, and I'm up against a lizardman player who actually is going to be taking a slan and going into it. He just kind of asked the buddy, hey, pick a number between 1 and 8, and it turned out he's going to be going to lower shadow. So from left to right, he's going to be having some skinks. There's 2 salamanders there. Right now the chameleons are being shown in the back, but they're actually going to be behind this thing here in the middle, which we're going to be using as a sinister statue. Then of course he has his slan with his temple guard, more skinks, and then some saurus, and then there is a scarvet. So really, I mean, it's one of these things where you can't really do anything with deployment because it's forced to be broken up. But I know that against lizardmen, what I really need to do is try and kill their supporting units first, and then try and isolate one of the blocks. But we'll see what happens. Alright, for this first picture here, I also want to say that it's kind of an older building and they're using these old yellow tinted lights, so it really caused havoc with my camera. But anyway, what happened here is on the first turn the sinister statue went and killed some of the chameleons, so that was nice, and then I charged in the wolf chariot. He did 2 wounds to me, but at least now I have a good chance of maybe even wiping out this whole unit before the game really even starts. Unfortunately, that's not the case. I go in there and my impact hits kill a few, but in the end he's able to do the last wound to me, and that's that. So otherwise you can see that my units are moving up, and I'm just really want to make sure that I'm covering all my angles so I can get those salamanders no matter where they go. His turn 1, most of his stuff is staying back. It's really just his salamanders and the left skinks that are moving up. He does 3 wounds to one of my chariots there, and also in the magic phase reduces its strength, so it won't be all that great. And then his salamanders actually went and killed some of my night goblins with bows, panicked them, and yeah, there they are running. So, whatever. My turn 2, this is where I'm after his chaff, so I get some stuff into his skinks to the left. I believe he kills another wolf chariot in that whole, between his shooting before and in combat here, but either way I beat them and I run them down. His salamanders all ran, and, that's no big deal. One thing that was kind of nice is that the sinister statue went and killed the rest of the chameleon skinks, so that's pretty good, and my guys rallied, so that's all looking good as well. His turn 2, he charges out his scarvet from the unit. This kind of surprised me. I was kind of waiting and actually using my night goblins here on the right just in hopes to try and hold back the Saurus over here, because I'm going to be trying to focus on the temple guard. But what he actually decides to do is charge out. He does only a few wounds because he rolls kind of bad, and I'm unbreakable, so there you go. His shooting kills one of my wolf chariots, and this then panics again my night goblins, and they run off the table, so there's some points for him. And now I'm just really hoping that these 4 chariots can go and deal with his temple guard, but he has a spell off again where I'm -3 strength, or I think it's just 2 right now, but yeah, it'd be nice to have some stronger impact hits. So my turn 3, I come charging in here. I have to deal with this salamander in her front, so I'm having my two characters charging that one, and then they're of course going to be joining in with the overrun. But yeah, in the magic phase, I tried casting the spell so that my shaman got, Fist the Gork. He dispelled it, and I threw 3 dice to stop his remains in play here for the strength, and I failed. So that was unfortunate, but hopefully I'll still have enough to do enough impact hits to really devastate the unit so I can grind them down. And here's just another picture after I, of course, dealt with the salamander and came in here and this is why you love these kind of chariot armies, is just going for these massive charges. So in my turn it looks like this. As you can see, I killed tons of the temple guard. He had some bad luck attacking back and wasn't able to destroy the one that was almost dead, and yeah, I'm still all there. It's just so devastating, of course. I mean, with all those impact hits and then all these guys, I mean, the boars and the riders at strength 5 just does so much damage. Yeah, I mean, now the Slan even has to be in the front rank. On the right side there, as I said, he had his one Scarvet in my pump wagon, and so I charged it with my BSB chariot. I won combat because I also made this my wad just to try and get the extra combat res over there, and ran him down. And really, I know I'm giving up a flank, but I don't really care, because if he flanks me, he's staying away from the temple guard, which is really my real aim of this right now. His turn 3, and he actually surprises me because he sends both his skinks and his Saurus into my night goblins. I mean, maybe he's looking for a fast win here, or maybe he thought that I had the stubborn crown on my BSB, but yeah, this is just perfect. End of his turn then, it looks like this. My Night Goblins are holding on. One of the big things that happened here is he got off Mind Razor, which of course is devastating. He destroyed one of my chariots, another one is almost dead and is, running away. And he also, his Slan, did a wound to my general, so that was kind of embarrassing, but I did a wound back. And yeah, I mean, Mind Razor is not happiness to my chariots, but hopefully I have enough here to finish him off. So my turn 4, pretty much just still holding there on the right. I had a guy that was supposed to be charging in here from the far left, but I failed to charge. That was unfortunate because he ended up having one guy left to being, having his temple guard and being stubborn. With his attacks, he was able to go and kill my shaman, but, I'm still in a position here where his guy should be doomed, and especially because now his slan's down to 1 wound. And my BSB's turned around to deal with whatever he needs. Alright, so his turn 4, and this was kind of an interesting thing here. He charges in with his salamander. Doesn't really do too much. I killed a Slan. He does, I think, a wound back. And overall, because of how he had the charge, the flank, and a banner, he actually won combat. So my chariot held, but my general broke, and so he took off and, had to jump to the other side of this impassable here, and he was fine from his dangerous. But yeah, that was kind of crazy how that worked. And then otherwise, my Night Goblins, they're being champs, and they're still doing their job too. So my turn 5, the chariots counter on the top, wipe everything out. My BSB comes into the rear of the Saurus, and I win combat, and he holds. You got also my general rallied. And then on his turn 5, I beat the Saurus, break them, and run them down. So overall, it's a pretty crazy game. It's one of those things where it's just... my opponent said, and it really made me feel good, that, oh yeah, this, Malorian, he's always a great guy to play against because you never know what type of army he's going to bring, and it's always going to be something crazy and interesting. So, I mean, that of course made me feel good, and, it's just fun to do something like this, where it's a chariot army, it's something different, and hey, I got another game coming up with them too. Alright, so we're going to be jumping into our second game now, and as you can see, it's the same table, just the way it worked. I'm just, I'm going to be staying at the same one. The only difference for the table is that now that center building is going to be a Tower of Blood, so that's going to be kind of crazy. We have Blood and Glory, which also is fitting for that table, and yeah, so I'm really kind of compacted in the middle here. Something to kind of explain with my deployment is that I really didn't know if he was going to be counting the woods as mysterious or not, and I guess I could have asked, but I just wanted the game to be really free-flowing, so I kept my blocks outside of the woods and put my chariots inside the woods. You know, it seems kind of like a stupid and backwards thing, but risking the one on your chariot's actually a pretty small deal, whereas if I put my blocks into there and then found out there'd be a venomous thicket, it would actually be a lot bigger. So whatever, that's what I did. Otherwise, I'm up against this vampire counts player. What he has from left to right is some hex wraiths. He has a spirit host. He has some zombies in the front, a ghoul horde in the back. Outside of the units is his BSB, vampire lord, and necromancer. He also has some black knights. And one of the things I know going into this game is that he's actually normally a ogre player, and this is his first time playing vampires, and that I should be scared of his vampire lord. So we'll see how it goes. So he gets first turn and he's starting to move up. I think a big part of his plan was trying to get Van Hales off so he could move his ethereal stuff again, but made sure to stop it, and so now I'm in a really good spot to counter these ghostly things. And so that's what I do. I have my chariot hit the flank of the hex race, and so between charge and a flank, two of them crumble. My block goes into the spirit host and crumbles that, and otherwise stuff is just moving up. I have actually the sniper spell, the one where it does the strength 4 hit and it does D3 wounds if it goes through. So I'm trying to threaten him with that, but of course, I mean the odds of that are fairly low. Alright, so his turn 2, and I never really did ask why he had his characters outside of units. I think it's because he thought, I don't have any shooting, because I know in the second game he did put them in units, or maybe he was trying to protect himself and his units from miscast. But anyway, he had all of his characters out back like this, and then his necromancer had a miscast, and of course he cascaded, so it was nice that he was outside of a unit, nobody got hurt, but he's actually now going to be out of the game, so that really hurts him losing his necromancer right away like this. Otherwise, his hex wraiths did a wound to my chariot, so they tied combat and looked around. His zombies came into my night goblins, not really much happened there. And his black knights came in, destroyed my pump wagon, and overran into my wolf chariot, while his ghouls are kind of sweeping around the left side. So my turn 2, I send tons of chariots into the black knights, wipe them out with impact hits alone. Of course, I mean, it really helps that I have Frenzy and Hatred here, but now, of course, it's not so good because now Frenzy's it forced me to overrun, so I have all these characters in front of his characters. I also had the one chariot join in against the zombies and just did a ton of damage, so now they're almost gone. Nothing happened with the Hex Wraith combat, and the only thing that makes me feel really stupid is that the way that I deployed with my Spear Night Goblins, I really have no way to sneak by, and they're kind of stuck with this building and the different chariots. So his turn 3, he decides to charge in with his characters. I forgot to actually mention in my last turn, I got off that sniper spell on his Vampire Lord, managed to do 1 wound, so that's pretty nice. But he sent in his BSB into my General and his Vampire Lord into my Shaman, so we'll see how this goes. End of his turn then, it looks like this. His ghouls also went into my chariot on the left, wiped them out. His zombies, they were wiped out in combat there from the crumbling. In the combats, I was able to kill his BSB with my General. He did 1 wound to my chariot. And then in the other combat, he killed my Shaman. I did nothing back to his General, and luckily I was able to hold. So, not too bad. Alright, and then on my turn, I'm able to charge 2 more chariots into the Vampire Lord, and between the impact hits and the attacks after, yeah, the Vampire Lord dies, and he says, alright, let's call the game, because at this point, everything's going to crumble, and he doesn't really have all that much left anyway. But either way, it was kind of unfortunate game. They kind of lost his ethereal stuff right away in the very beginning. They could have been more of a pain. Really unlucky for him to lose his necromancer. But overall, yeah, I just love this chariot army. It's too bad that it's kind of bulky, so I actually broke 3 of them during the course of this day. But yeah, in my painting, I'm hoping to get another 6 chariots painted in the next couple of months. And then soon, hey, maybe I can take these to a tournament or something. So anyway, hope you liked watching it. Bye.